Hey guys, it's TF Nut. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing another action figure review. This time it's going to be of the brand new Bandai Tamashii Nations S.H. Figuarts Naruto Tsunade Legendary Medical Ninja. I believe some websites have this listed as a Shippuden version, even though this comes with a head sculpt and faceplate of the younger Naruto. So either way, we have a Lady Tsunade figure here. This is a web exclusive. It just means that it's available to certain online retailers in the US and probably around the globe and all that. Really excited to finally have this one here. Really awesome character. Let's just go ahead and jump right into the packaging because I'm pretty late on reviewing this, unfortunately. Here's the figure in the box. You do have a little bit of like this green background in there. See all the contents there. You also have an image of Tsunade right there with some nice brush strokes in that art too. You do have where it says Tsunade, the legendary medical ninja. You have Naruto, and I guess that is the Shippuden logo right there. I'm not sure exactly. But also the web exclusive logo, Tamashii Nations sticker of quality, as well as the Tamashii Nations and Bandai logos there. On top just says what S.H. Figuarts is about. So let's look on the side here, and you can see if I can actually focus. There we go. S.H. Figuarts, it's going to say Tsunade here. Another image of the figure. You also have on this side, it says it in English this time, Tsunade, as well as another image with some posing going on as well. The bottom is just going to have an image of Tsunade as well as character's name, S.H. Figuarts. Looking on the back here, just giving you a wide shot really quick there. Now you just get a little bit closer and it's got some different images as well as talks about some different things going on with this figure. You know, some of the accessories, of course. Now, this is an online exclusive, so I will leave a barcode down there, but you're really only going to get this, of course, online, like Big Bad Toy Store, maybe even Amazon, and certain retailers. Ages 15 and up, and that is a blue fin sticker there. Let's go ahead and get this figure out of the packaging. And here's the figure out of the packaging. This actually looks quite good, and I'm really digging this one here. There are some gripes. I think a lot of people have the same gripes that I'm going to talk about in a little bit, but it's still a pretty awesome figure. Let's go ahead, take a look at the accessories that she comes with, then we'll take a closer look at the figure. Here's a quick look at all of the accessories spread out here. It's just a decent amount of hands, faces, as well as a necklace and an alternate head and faceplate for Naruto. I'm going to show off just a random number of combinations you can do with some of these accessories on Tsunade. I don't have a lot of time to really take proper toy photography at the very end like I usually do. I'll just have time just for one photo. So you can see here, I'm not doing every combination of accessories on this figure, of course, but I do feel like you can't do much with this figure. I feel like the amount of accessories are a little bit limited. Some people may say they don't really know what else this figure would come with, and I think that's pretty fair, actually. Maybe some effects pieces, I'm not entirely sure. Maybe some booze, like some bottles of booze. But, it's still decent amount of stuff, of course. It's just, for like 85 pushing 90 bucks, I feel like I could do a little bit more, especially without a cloth fabric cape, for any of this. So anyway, let's talk about these accessories because they are all good. I will say that. We do have this nice grinning expression here with the eyes closed. You have that nice marking there with the eyebrows bent a little bit. Very nice separation of the paint going on with the teeth and the lips too. And you do have a little bit of her hair on the side here, as well as her ears, sculpted pretty well actually. So the way that this works here, it's all going all this way. So it's pretty easy to do this. You just pop this face off, and these longer parts here are a little bit gummy. So I would be careful of that. They are rather long face peg sections, whatever they would be called. That's how easy it is to interchange a face, and that looks really good. The figure comes packaged with fists and the neutral smile. So let's move on with the screaming, more combative face, which is looking really good too. Very nice eyes printed in there. A little bit of creasing around the, underneath the eye, as well as really good separation of paint in the mouth, where you have the nice lips there, as well as the teeth, the tongue, and the inside of the mouth there. On the inside there, sometimes it's in the color of the mouth, but it's all done in a very nice way, I think. Again, the rest of this is pretty typical. Like all the symbols on her forehead, that is all done really well. We have a really hilarious comedic screaming face with the whited out eyes. A lot of these characters come with faces like this, and I hope they keep this up. Very hilarious look at these eyebrows and the eyes, as well as nice paint in the tongue. I feel like a little bit of it, that red might be splotching a little bit onto the lips. I can maybe get that off. I have to be careful. Again, nice forehead printing. And then you do have, my AC's kicking on, and then you do have, the hair blonde hair on the side there. Last, but certainly not least, these face markings for the 100 heels, I believe. She's looking slightly to the right. It could definitely work to where she is pretty centered looking, actually. She's not looking that far off, but the actual markings look very well done. She has this nice angrier expression going on here. I would not recommend this, but you always could maybe take the paint off here and you have this nice angrier expression without this paint. Again, I don't really recommend doing that unless you're getting somehow an extra faceplate. But that, the eyes printed there too, lip color, all of that looks fantastic, which leads into the jutsu hands, and pretty much all of these hands have really nice fingernails painted on here with a nice red there. These hands are sculpted together. I love when they do this, and these are done very well, actually. So, really nicely sculpted together. They've really got it down. They really never messed these up, I don't think, and they kind of did it right the first time and never really messed up ever since. I can't think of a time they've messed up. Somebody might in the comments. I'm not entirely sure. These are these type of posing hands where the index finger is separated a little bit. These are more meant for when I'm looking on the box. She's like holding her hips. So, she maybe could hold other stuff, but the way that this is angled, maybe she can't really grip things too much. Inside the palms have some nice detail. Not a crazy amount, but still pretty good for, being palms. And then again, really nice red on the nails. Then we have these flat hands. These are for all kinds of posing, especially for combat and stuff as well. Again, I don't think any of these fingernails, a little dusty, are done very bad at all. Looking on the inside of the hand there, if I don't drop this, it's not the craziest amount of detail, again, the palms, but still not too bad. Last but certainly not least, I guess these are also a type of fighting hand too, where the index and middle finger are separated going on there. So, again, you'll know what I say. Decent detailing in the palms, really nice paint on the nails. She has her necklace here, which is just, I believe it's molded in black. I could be wrong. And then you do have a small surface area to paint on, and I do see a little bit of silver splotched there, but that's really not a big deal. You can't notice it too much. Then you have this light blue going on there, which looks really nice, and I showed off images earlier of what this looks like around her neck, so that's cool. Last but certainly not least, here's a quick image of what the alternate Naruto head looks like on the body right there. Looking pretty good, but none of those previous faceplates we got will fit with this because of the different head sculpt. I don't own the ramen set. Don't know if those faces are going to be compatible. I don't think so. But let me just go ahead and just show off how this looks. Maybe we'll get different faces for this head for Naruto in the future. Not entirely sure. That would start to get pretty complicated. You do have, pull this out here, and then this pops out like so. If we get this one, which I believe is 2023's Naruto, this has to go, this is all one piece here, and then this goes all the way up here. This already has two sections where you have to push things in like this, and if I do it right, like this. So that's already not really going to work out, but this does fit onto the body quite nicely. And I mean, that does want to pop off a little bit, but again, maybe in the future we'll get stuff for it. There's some articulation going on there. But for now, we don't have any other face for this head besides this. Starting off with the actual detailing, this is the neutral expression, which really is more of a smile, which I think is totally fine. We have a decent amount of figures that have neutral expressions where they kind of look miserable. So a smile every once in a while isn't bad. I didn't mean for that to rhyme. We do have a really nice symbol, once again, with the nice light purple printed on there. The eyes have this nice, very dark brown, almost orange, dark orange type of paint there with a little bit of a light in the eye there towards the pupils. Then you do have some nice eyeliner. I don't know if I mentioned that in the other faces, but they all have really good eyeliner. All those, I did not notice any problems with the faces. We do also have the, we also have these eyebrows, and then really nice lip color going on here. And they do have a little bit of detailing, a little bit of a dark line in the actual lips. So, you know, that's actually not very bad looking at all. Side profile, you have these hair pieces here. And these up here, so the hair, I feel like, so one, there's something going on here, whatever this weird mark is, but it's very dark. It's a little subtle, so you can't notice it too much, I don't think. This part here is a softer plastic. I feel like the hair could be detailed a little bit better. Maybe if it had actual paint in here, because it's just molded in this one, like, muted blonde color, which I think it looks fine. It looks very much like her hair color, but I think some more paint would have gone a little, you know, I don't want to say a long way, but it would have been, you know, a little bit more appreciated. We do have this hair system here where the ears are molded, you know, the back of the hair section is molded outward, so the ear fits in there. If I even said that correctly, you know, and you can see that right there. If I maybe push in the face a little bit. No, that's as far as I want it to go. These separated hair sections are articulated because we do have these port systems. These are a little easy to separate there, so just be careful with that. I also think that something's going on upstairs. We do also have these purple band sections. I mean, there's not much crazy about them. I think there's a little bit of a seam line in there, but it's really not that noticeable. Seems a little bit difficult to articulate. Not impossible, just snags a little bit. But we do have some nice detailing down here. Again, I feel like paint would make this look a little bit better. Her skin tone is very glossy. It is a figure from the Vietnam factory. So a lot of things are going to be glossy out of that factory. You're just going to notice that. But her skin tone, yeah, again, a little glossy. Not much really going on in terms of like her collarbone or her neck actually detailed in there. Her actual outfit has this really nice line segments. You have these black lines painted, and then around these folds here, they are actually sculpted. I feel like I see a little bit of a black splotch right there. You have this nice waistband section. If I go back a little bit, you'll see that it starts to separate a bit. But that all is actually, I mean, they're layered on top of each other. I don't know if that's supposed to look like that in the manga or anime, but it's not really that. It kind of blends in together, actually, if you ask me. This whole cape cloak section was a bit of a debate. I forget what symbol this is, but this is nicely printed here. I'm a fake fan. It's been a while since I've caught up on the show, man. But it is actually separated in the printing here. Well, the printing here is just paint. But this here, this red is separated from the green in the sculpt there. People really wanted this to be a soft goods type of cloak. And then we would have had like bare arms basically for her. And I think that in the end of the day, now that I have this in hand, I do think that would have been better than... It's not terrible what we have here, but I do think it would have been better. We do have some nice wrinkles all the way around her arms and like her elbow sections, the cuffs right here on the bicep, or the, I guess, triceps, or the forearm. And then around the shoulder section, it's a little bit more smooth on the actual bicep there, but a little bit on the inside has some detailing. You can get that as well as on the other side. It's really interesting. What I guess is a nub mark from when they took it off the mold. I think there's actually some detailing in the actual joint there in the elbow. We'll talk about articulation in a second, but you see that ball joint going on in there. And you see, I mean, the actual forearm isn't really that detailed. But you do have these nice fists. They're done a certain way. I feel like these knuckles are sticking out a little too much. Yeah, if I make a fist. I mean, you know, they're fine for what they are. And we do have some nice, actually, they did not paint that. You can see the fingernails. They didn't paint those. You have that on the thumbs, though. Did they paint on? No, they didn't paint it here either. Interesting. I guess that is a bit of a hard area to get, but those are exposed fingernails, so, you know, at least they could have tried a little bit, I guess. But then you get down to the bottom half of the skirt of her, really her entire outfit section with the gray here. Similar to what we had on top. We have the separated fold sections or whatever this is for her outfit, and then these black lines that are actually sculpted. Yeah, there's actually sculpted, and there is paint there. I think they're actually sculpted up here too. I'm not touching her chest, okay? I ain't doing it. You behave. I'm just kidding. Anyway, we do have wrinkles all the way around here. Even though I do think that this is, you know, a little unfortunate, and it gets in the way a little bit. Like, she really can't sit her arms all the way down because of this green cape. But we do have really good wrinkles and creases all around here. And then this black section on her robe is completely sculpted and painted, and it looks really clean. Actually, I don't notice really anything wrong in terms of splotching. Yeah, so, you know, she's not perfect when it comes to certain things about her, you know, especially like the glassiness, but I feel like Vietnam figures are getting a little bit better, especially quality control here. And I think maybe, you know, they could have actually painted these. If you own this and these aren't painted as well, or they are, let me know down in the comments, please. Just checking here, there's nothing really going on here. The entire, pretty much her whole pants are just in this like very dark navy blue. It's all just kind of a smooth sculpt up, you know, in the top half. Then you get down here or to the, you know, below the knee, around the shin area, a little bit more wrinkles going on there, and a little bit of wrinkles around here too. Those exposed knee joints aren't the most beautiful, but, you know, it's what it is. What it is. It's an articulated figure. These ankle pieces, I don't know what exactly they're called for a heel, but they break up really bad. The only way they're going to really look like they connect is if you manipulate it to be like this, and it's really not. Yeah, that's... I get it, this would really get in the way of the articulation, but yeah, it's rather distracting. Then you have this whole, like, circular peg section going on there, too. Her toes are properly painted, though. Very nice toenail paint going on there. The actual detailing, though, of these, you know, strapped around the ankle here, of the heels, is not too bad. She started to stand up a little bit better, I've noticed. Maybe just messing around, you know, with the legs a little bit, you know, stabilizing her has helped. And then that's what the bottom of the feet look like there. There's not much else I think I could talk about. We do have these back sections here, but that's where the copyright is printed there. I really don't notice a lot of paint splotching. I think they're missing paint in some areas. Like if everyone's is missing paint here, then they really should have painted that. Even though, I mean, yeah, you can see those nails even from here. So that's it's a bit of a nitpick. I'm not going to get on that too much. It's just kind of weird they missed that. But again, for a figure where the Vietnam factory is notorious for being some of the most problematic figures in the S.H. Figuarts line, this is actually really nicely done. For articulation, her head is on a dumbbell joint, so it can go side to side like this if I can even get it in focus, which is actually really good. Swivels just fine. This is really going to move with this combined neck motion, but it still really doesn't want to go up that far. And down okay. But, you know, really, at the end of the day, the only thing that is hindered is really the up motion, and I think it's because of these back pieces, and these are on a ball joint, so they move. They can go up and down side, all these different ways to the side. Already talked about that neck. So we do have actually kind of like a butterfly joint in here. There's definitely a ball joint going on there. So her arms can go all the way out like this, and then go all the way around if you really wanted to. You can really move it around that socket pretty well. Still be careful though, because mine's not super tight, but you never know. This part up here towards that socket can swivel, but then it actually is supposed to swivel at this bicep, which actually is harder to do now that I'm trying to do it. Yeah, that's really not going well. Double jointed elbow, even with this blockier piece here, is actually quite good. There's a ball joint going on here in that forearm, and it's getting a little bit harder to grab things and, you know, not block your vision, but yeah, that's a ball joint there. Standard type of wrist articulation with a hinge and a ball joint on two sides. Then we do have a swivel here at the hands. That's for all sets of hands too. Just one ball joint section here. So, I mean, yeah, that starts to separate, but you kind of get an idea. There's a ball joint here and that socket. And I think there actually is some detail. Yeah, I think it's maybe, I actually can't tell if there's more articulation in there. But then there's a ball joint going on in there. So let's try to pop this back on. Try to do it again. Really, it starts to get gappy, but you can kind of push it back. Forward, not too bad. Side to side, swiveling there. So, okay range of motion, could be a little better. These are also softer plastic, so they won't really get in the way. That sounded like something snapped, so I gotta check that in a second. You could kick her, leg actually pretty far up, and then back. Seems like it's fine. Back decently, but these things get in the way. Almost perfect splits, actually pretty close to perfect. Upper thigh swivel in here. I think there actually is a ball joint at the thigh too. Then we also get double jointed knee. Then we have a ball joint here at the ankle. So lots of ball joints going on, just like a lot of these figures in this line. It can also make it swivel down, up, swivel here at the actual. I could try to grab it, but it's pretty tight. I actually don't know if it moves that much. Maybe it doesn't actually, like right here. But I'm going on too long anyway. Ankle rocker, and then you do get that toe hinge. Measuring out this figure, we're looking at about 15 centimeters on the ruler, maybe give or take a little bit there. And it's going to be about 6 inches tall to the top of her head. I don't have Jiraiya out, the advanced exclusive one. I don't plan on opening that one. I also don't have a better face for Sakura here, so I do apologize. But when it comes to Tsunade next to Orochimaru, she is going to be a little bit shorter. She's going to be a little bit taller than Sakura, and then Marvel Legends and Black Series figures are going to be taller than her. Overall, I am really liking this figure. I just feel like it could do a little bit more, but at the same time, I can't narrow down exactly what all it should do. I think the number one thing is that the green cloak should be a soft goods material. Her arms stick out because of the soft plastic. It always looks like it's flowing too, and I don't think it looks the best. It's not god-awful or anything, but it definitely would help with the articulation, the overall look, if it was soft goods. That being said, it's a softer plastic, not very heavy at all, so it really is going to make her that much top heavy. I mean, her ankles are pretty weak no matter what. But I do really like the rest of her faceplates and her hands. All those different accessories are nice. The necklace is cool too. This figure overall looks like Tsunade. They really captured the look of her down to almost a T, besides a couple minor things, which really isn't that big of a deal. Really nice looking, especially something coming out of the Vietnam factory, which a lot of us expect not great stuff out of. This thing, besides the glossier skin, it still looks really nice. And we do have an extra head and faceplate for Naruto. Just one use so far. Hopefully we'll get more in the future. Overall, I don't regret spending any 85 on this, if I'm being honest, but maybe I would recommend waiting until it does drop down in price a little bit, maybe at like 70 or even 75. I think it would be worth it. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Comment down below what you think about this figure, what you think about the review. Leave a like, share amongst your friends, follow me on Instagram for more content over there, and I'll see you guys later.